Hey guys, everybody knows that this coronavirus is just turning the world upside down, that things are just difficult. A lot of schools are going to distance learning, some are extending spring break, closing, whatever. If you're doing distance learning, I want to speak to you right now because I think the idea of trying to do chemistry as distance learning can be daunting and confusing and scary. So I want to speak into that and kind of give you some big strategies for that. Number one, set clear expectations. If you expect no learning to happen, then no learning is going to happen. If you set the expectation for your students that we're going to learn and we're going to get something out of this time, then you're more likely to have your students learn and get something out of this time. You know, but set realistic expectations. You're not in the classroom. Kids aren't in the classroom. They're not in a school setting. You're not going to get the same quality of work that you're used to getting, most likely. Unless you have very motivated students. And you're also going to end up going slower than you're used to. That's okay. That's normal. Okay? That's to be expected. But to have the expectation that nothing's going to happen, that no learning's going to happen, I think you're setting yourself up to fail if you come into it with that expectation. So kind of do a gut check inside of you. Because, by the way, if you believe nothing's going to happen, and you never actually even say that, your kids will pick up on it and how you're talking and how you're doing things. So do kind of a heart check with yourself first. Truly believe that something's going to happen, that learning is possible. Set that expectation within yourself, and then you'll be able to communicate it more clearly to your students. All right, so what does this look like for you? Kind of more nuts and bolts. It could be as simple as this. Turn on your camera, speak into it, share your content, done. That could work. I think something like a PowerPoint, doing a screen recording with a PowerPoint/Keynote would be even better, where you're actually guiding the kids through the lesson as you go along. You can also use, I like to use Zoom when I do that kind of thing, because in Zoom I can have a little window up at the top that shows me and my face and allows me to connect visually with kids a little bit better. I just like that better than just simply the slides being shown. So that's an option where you can record yourself in Zoom with no other people there, and it works. Or you could even do a Zoom broadcast if you have that level of Zoom. With the PowerPoint and Keynotes, it takes time to make those, and it takes time to make those well. I have those. If you go to the bottom of the page here at teachinghighschoolchem.com, you will find my units for sale, and one of the things I have for you in those units is fully worked out PowerPoints. That'll give you everything you need to just simply go through it yourself one time, then hit record and go through it, and you're done. Literally probably well under an hour, you got your lesson done, or a series of lessons done. I would also, for me, I would do some type of online quiz with either the learning management software at your school or on Google Forms, just to show that the kids watched the video and understood what it said. Just kind of some kind of quick multiple choice question, reading comprehension quiz. I would also do office hours. However you want to do that. Zoom is the easiest way. There's a free version of Zoom where you can just simply hop on and do quick one-on-one meetings. Kids log in with, you give them the link, they hop on. That's a really easy way to do meetings. And I would do office hours every day for an hour and just let kids come and go as they need to. It may be a very nice quiet time for you for that hour because nobody may show up. Try to keep your teaching as normalized as possible, meaning teach the way you've always taught. Don't do anything different. Try to keep the same cadence, the same tempo, the same way you do things. Just try to keep that going and keep it as normal as possible. Don't freak out. If you normally wear a tie or normally wear a dress or something like that for teaching, then I would dress that way in your videos. Once again, you're bringing that sense of normalcy. You're bringing that expectation of, hey, this is what this looks like for school. We're still doing school. If you're capable of getting in your school building without, risk to yourself health-wise, I would even record it in your classroom just to take it to that next level of, hey, this is normal. All right. So what to cover? key thing here is if you're going to try to do distance learning, we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully, no longer. And with distance learning, chemistry skills are difficult to cover. Things like calorimetry, gas laws, stoichiometry, those kind of things, because the students really need you there to see where they're making mistakes and speak into it and guide them along the way, because you don't want them practicing it wrong for 2 weeks. On the other hand, we have content, and really second semester chemistry, there's a good bit of content. Things like the history of heat and determining endothermic versus exothermic. The whole states of matter unit that's honestly that's where I would go. I would go states of matter. I would go intermolecular forces, states of matter, phase changes, heating curves and phase diagrams, and then probably properties of gases, that first part of gas laws. And that's going to be my focus for 2 weeks, because that's about what that would cover, and it's all content based. There's no skills involved. They don't have to do any calculations. They just have to know information and give it back to me. And that would be a great place to spend your time. Definitions of acids and bases, that kind of first part of acids and bases. What is pH? What is titration? No, or what is indicators? I wouldn't do titration. What are indicators? How do they work? That's stuff that you can kind of explain. Those would all be good units to do. Now comes assessment. And once again, this comes down to personal style. You can do, once again, if you have a learning management software for your school where you can do online quizzes, go for it. Me personally, I prefer my students to handwrite things, because I think it just connects to the brain better. It makes better learning. So once again, I would take the handouts that I already have made and the units that you can purchase below. I have student homework assignments, student classwork assignments where they can write it in, and I would have them take a picture with their iPad or their iPhone, and I would have them submit it either to a Dropbox of some kind on a learning management software system, or emailing it as an attachment, whatever the case might be. I want to see kids handwriting it out, and I want to see what they're doing. Hopefully by this point in time in the year, you know your kid's handwriting enough that they can't just turn in somebody else's picture as their own. And so, hopefully you know enough to be able to pick those out if that were to happen, because we want to limit cheating as much as possible. Or the other option, I would consider this. I think the learning may not be as high, but you could do a project. You could even do a group project where kids have to FaceTime each other and do that kind of stuff to make sure they're not meeting in person. But FaceTime, whatever it may be, will get them to learn and work through a project on like history of heat or states of matter or gas laws or whatever you want to cover. You can do that during this time as well. That one, a little bit, grading projects is always a little difficult. And in this situation, that could be a little hairy. But that's another option there. Finally, like I said, I've got my modules, my units down below for you, but also you can just email me, jeff@teachinghighschoolchem.com. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to serve you, especially through this just crazy time with the coronavirus. So my hope and prayers are with y'all, and just reach out if you need anything.